I would like to send my great respects to His Holiness Samdechព្រះអភិសិរីសុគន្ធាមហាសង្ឃរាជាធិបតីកតេឧទេសបណ្ឌិត Bukri, the great Supreme Patriarch of Dhammayuttika Nikaya of Kingdom of Cambodia and the President of Supreme Sanghanayaka Councils of Dhammayuttika Nikaya of the Kingdom of Cambodia, all leaderships of Presihamuni Raja Buddhist University. Today we honor to have very experts coming from different countries, Dr. Karl from Australia and Dr. Steve from England coming here to help us and talk about our development plan for internationals, because we are developing our PSB University to become an international level and international standard in the future. So let me welcome to Dr. Karl. So Dr. Karl, please thank you so much for coming here, and we are very honored to have you here today. And so would you mind express about your development plan that we have been discussed for a few days ago?
We're very excited to be here. And we've been watching PSBU for quite some time, going through different accreditations internationally as well as in country. And that speaks of a desire to make continual improvement and generally trying to extend PSBU beyond the campus to be both regional and international. So we're really excited about that. The part of this is also trying to make it international, not just being involving other countries, but involving internationalization within the university. For example, enhancing the English program. That's really important because that enables the students to be able to have more mobility. When they graduate, they can actually work in other places. They're not just restricted. Or even if they're working in Cambodia or in ASEAN, they can work for organizations where English becomes a predominant language. So part of our goal is to improve the English language. And to that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Steve Cochrane, who's a very experienced English teacher, who's had many years teaching in Asia as well as in England. And I think he maybe share some of his philosophies about teaching English and some of the goals. So, Mr. Steve Cochrane.
Okay, thank you. I've been teaching in Asia for 24 years, as Karl said, after teaching in England. And, good students, they need good teachers. And, it's the approach to teaching language and the way you think about it. It helps the students to learn quickly and efficiently. And so, very often language is treated as an academic subject, which it isn't. It's a skill. And so you've got to approach it from a skill set point of view and teach it as such.
Could you elaborate a little bit on that when you say from a skill set point of view?
Okay. Example, if someone comes to me and says, Steve, I want to learn how to play basketball. Okay. Let's get some books on basketball. That's not going to work.
You need more than books.
Yeah, you need a lot more than books. And, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors, and the whole process is a learning thing. You've got to make a lot of mistakes to get where you want to be. It's the same as if some young man wants to become a boxer, he's got to find a good coach and then work really hard in the gym. You don't win the fight in the ring, you win it in the gym. So it's the preparation. Preparation and understanding. And that comes from your coach. So I approach language very practically. My background is in engineering, so very pragmatic by the way I do things. And, I explain the language, where it comes from, how it evolved, what the meaning is, what the implied meaning is. It's not just words, For example, when I came to live in Asia, I lived in Thailand. I couldn't understand what was happening. I couldn't understand Thai people. I come from a European background, Christian-based society. All of a sudden, I'm in Asia and a Buddhist-based society, and I just couldn't understand things. So, in order to do that, you've got to look at the history. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And you start to build up a picture, and culture comes first, and language is an evolution of that culture. That's really.
So if we're talking about language,
yes,
traditionally it'd be a lot of rote work, there'd be a lot of grammar, and that's traditionally like a lot of people teach that point of view.
Yes.
How do you see it being more effective, or how would you make it more effective?
Okay, you and I are both natural English speakers. When we speak English, we never ever think about grammar.
Correct.
So why would I
Yes,
teach the students that? You know, it slows you down. If, for example, if you want to teach me how to speak Cambodian, where do we start? The Cambodian alphabet? Cambodian grammar? It's going to kill me. I'll be too busy thinking to actually say anything.
Of course.
You know, because it's complex. It's much more complex than English. So let's take the simple route. How to put sentences together, phrases.
To communicate.
Use it.
Yes, that is similar to my experience because I used to teach English for almost 10 years. And, you know, some of my students concerned about grammar understanding. And I said, okay, when you're concerned about grammar, let's just face this. When you see the kids, when they were born from their mother, do you think that they know about grammar?
Exactly.
And when they learn speaking, do they learn grammar?
No,
So I told them like that, and I just forget about grammar. Just talk the way that you can talk and be confident.
The natural process of learning a language is being immersed in the language. As a child, you hear phrases, you copy, you make mistakes.
Yes.
An aunt, an uncle, a brother, whatever, corrects you. And over a period of time, and a series of mistakes, you start to put phrases together and it makes sense. The grammar comes later when you start at school. And that's like, that's why we do that.
Yes,
that's
that's
why
true.
we say that.
And the thing I think which is really important here is it doesn't matter of the age of the student. When they're beginning language, they're like children. And so they need to have the chance for immersion. They need to have the chance for applying what they've learned in conversation. And the grammar, all those rules come later. I think. And that's why we're very excited about this project, because we're bringing international teachers on campus and looking at doing a program where they come at least once a month, if not twice a month, doing the instruction here on campus. And that's really exciting for the students because they have an immersion 2 days over a weekend. They're sacrificing part of their weekend time, but additional to that is they're having 6 hours each day. And that 6 hours is very flexible. It doesn't mean 1 hour of grammar, 1 hour of writing. It means 6 hours of communicating with a native English speaker and actually developing their skills. And they become more risk takers, and by definition, they become more confident.
Yes. Thank you so much. Because actually we discussed a lot about this, and as a PSBU officials, we would like to inspire and motivate the students to learn more English, because actually it's a part of our development. We plan to bring our students out of the country to study and experience in different countries, for example, let's say Australia, England, or United States. So, and the students, they need to know English in order to communicate, because I believe when they go there, they need to learn with the international program. And communication is very important.
Well, and that's why we're excited to be part of this international program, because people think that an international program just means having different nationalities. It's not about that. English is, like it or not, the language of inclusion. So, for example, you might have a student who lives in Cambodia, gets a job in Indonesia. The Indonesian person, the counterpart there, the odds are they will not speak Khmer. And the odds are the Cambodian will not speak Indonesian, Bahasa. The language which will bring them together is English. So if they have English, there's more mobility, not just geographically, but employment. The job opportunities are increased. The salaries are commensurate with that increasing job opportunities. They have a chance for better salaries, better positions, better future.
Yes, thank you so much. You know, I really appreciate, and I was so amazing that you told me this morning about sending Dr. Steve to come to universities every month in order to teach English to students. That's going to help our students being familiar with the English language and with the native speakers.
And it also takes an understanding. I mean, the university has been very gracious in understanding that we need to have smaller classes, which makes it more intimate, and it means that there's more time of instruction. And the students are giving up their weekend. So that's, everyone's making an investment here, investing time, expertise, energy, it's money. It's an investment, but it's an investment where you can actually see the good of it. It benefits students directly. And that's what the core business of a university should be.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, students are the product of the university. If you're not making a good product, you fail.
Yes.
So could we move on then? Because if we're talking about international, I know that there's something very close to your heart as a Leadership Academy.
Yes.
And maybe just sharing a little bit about that, because I know we'd like to learn more about it. And the students we've met have been very impressive. So if you'd like to maybe share a couple of minutes on the Academy.
Thank you so much. Well, I established a PSBU Leadership Academy in 2020 because I believe that PSBU universities need some things and PSBU Leadership Academy I can say that is members of the PSBU family because we establish ourselves in here and we create their platform program in order to help the student here. PSBU Leadership Academy right now we are doing three main programs. The first is English program because we have the same ideas that developing English ability for the student is very important.
Very important.
So we create the extra class for students from 11 to 12 and from 5 to 6 after they learning in a formal class, a full-time class, and we create a lot of speaking English activity because based on communication, we want the student to get used to speaking English, and we have the media program. We develop the team to assess them with the media knowledge. For example, you can see some of my staff are working on media. They come from the media students, and because we all believe that media play an important roles in the world right now in order to promote the program, in order to promote the institution.
In fact, the audience cannot see them, but we can see them here. And your media team are very, very impressive. I've had the benefit of their expertise several times on several visits, but very impressive.
Yes. So we did a lot of achievement for the media program. The first documentary was really appreciated by the public, locally and internationally. The first documentary was about the Krung coder. We made this documentary to talk about the life of the Krung people, called Bunong people, living in it's the corner of Cambodia, coming to PSB University to learn about IT. And right now she is promoted to be the PSB University's official, which is the achievements of the girl from Bunong people in order to continue their study. And right now she succeeds her career. So another program is about the entrepreneurship program. So beside English media, we also understand that having the entrepreneurship is very important because that can help the student to build their leadership.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So can we go on that thread about the Cochrane code? Because I had the benefit of meeting the student and seeing the documentary, and I was very impressed. I know in my earlier days doing an accreditation inspection, that was one of the pivotal parts of PSBU, seeing the work you're doing locally. And I think that's something which is very impressive, is how PSBU has not only an international program, and we're part of that, but also it has this very much instilled sense of community.
Yes.
I think it's a community, not just outside the campus walls here in Phnom Penh, but a sense of community throughout Cambodia.
Yes.
Maybe if you'd like to share a little bit about some of the local community initiatives PSBU currently have.
Well, right now, besides providing the education on site, we're also thinking of promoting the education to different places around Cambodia. And right now we choose the target community, which is the Tropiang Bring community. And we went there many times in order to study about the needs in terms of education for the students there. And we found, of course, they need more education. They need more English program. They need more technological program. They need more helps in terms of education. So we focus on them, and then we help developing the community schools there. We supported the teachers, and we also have the projects to raise fund in order to give give and study materials, and also setting some of the building construction program as well. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is about the projects that PSB universities is doing, besides giving the education on site and giving the 100 scholarship for 4 years for bachelor degree to students and 50% scholarship for master degree students.
I don't know if Steve realizes this, but all the students here are scholarship students, which is a phenomenal achievement. And again, that's something which I found very endearing myself with PSBU, and hence coming back again. I think that's really impressive. And while the Cochrane Coder was looking at targeting a student ready for university, I know that some of your projects start as low as kindergarten.
Yes.
So you have some projects which are helping from kindergarten children, which I think is really impressive for a university to take that on.
Thank you so much. I think education should be for all, because if we just open our eyes and open our view to the world, so the education starts from kindergarten, and the student, they build their own leadership scene in the garden.
Yes.
If you just look through it very deep, right?
For sure.
Yes.
Talent can come from anywhere.
Yes.
Exactly. And I think it's kind of cyclical. we're looking at how do we make it international and how do we help strengthen your reach internationally. I know there's a liaison with institutions in Sri Lanka, for example, and that's really important. I think the other part of it too, which people forget about, is that your rankings of universities, the more initiatives you have at any given time, the more that improves the rankings, it improves the recognition. The more you can improve the rankings and recognition, the more attraction you become for students. The students are becoming more discerning, and the families are becoming more discerning on where do we send our children. And so they start looking at, is this university good for this or good for that? Where does it rank? What will the future of my child be? More important, what will the future of my child be going to this university? So I think that's really important, that we have a sense of cycle. And I think a lot of the public don't understand that these accreditations aren't just a one-off. And so it's really important that these projects that we run are sustainable. It's important that they have some measurability to it, accountability to it. We can actually monitor the improvement and the progress. It doesn't have to be a big project, but it needs to have impact. It might be a small project with big results, like helping one little kindergarten can have huge results. You can take a village out of poverty, for example, by opening up different projects on a village base. So I think all of these initiatives should be celebrated. That's part of the reason why we're here. We find it very impressive.
That is the things that we always, consider about, because actually, on behalf of universities, we can spread our initiative around the country. But actually, we believe that if we select one target community and then we just focus on that, and we would like to see the result at the end, because we are not just going out there and giving the gift to the student. We set up a very specific and sustainable program for them to see how much they develop at the end of the project.
So I know that Steve is coming up here in 2 weeks to start the very first class. I'm sure there'll be lots of eyes on not just the level of English, but on the students' satisfaction, the increased confidence, the attendance, they're giving up their weekend. I think it's very impressive, and we're all hoping that this is the beginning of a long-term project.
Yes. This is the historical moments of PSB universities. Besides their, the 9th floor construction building finished in the history of the Buddhist study in Cambodia since the first centuries, and having you, Dr. Steve, as the experts of teaching English, coming here to teach our students, we really thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome. So I live based in Thailand. I don't know what it is in Khmer, but in Thailand we'd be saying not only Khop Khun Mak Krap, we'd be saying Chog Di, which means good luck. And we sincerely wish PSBU lots of good luck for the future. We're very proud and happy to be part of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.